Hey everyone, it's me Bailey and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a 24-hour readathon. So this is my first 24-hour readathon that I have done in a while. So this one's going to be kind of a more chill sort of readathon. However, a spinner wheel will be choosing my reads for the next 24 hours. So I'm expecting to film this over a few days since I am expecting this to be a little bit more of a chill sort of 24 hours, but I am going to do the timer stop and start method. So pretty much anytime I'm reading anything, whether that be in the car, going somewhere, or just in the house reading, I am going to have the timer going, but I am not trying to have this over by like this time tomorrow. So it is going to be a more chill and lax 24-hour readathon. I do have a stack of books that I've pulled here that I'm feeling like I might be somewhat interested in the next 24 hours to read. And because I'm feeling very indecisive at the moment, we will have a spinner wheel pick from this stack of books. I'm feeling like at this moment in time, I'm really in a romance mood. So we will see if that is what the spinner wheel decides to give me. I do have a few mystery thrillers on this list of books. I have a literary fiction, I have some romance, I have a fantasy. So I feel like it has a pretty wide range of genres on this list. So there are 10 books that I'm going to be picking from over the next 24 hours. So I would say let's go over the books, but honestly, let's just go ahead and get into spinning the wheel to see what the first book I'm going to pick up is. Okay, fingers crossed that it is a romance. I'm a little nervous. Okay, so the first book that was picked is Love and Other Brain Experiments by Hannah Brahm. So I did get this book in one of my Aardvark book boxes one of these months. I'm not exactly sure which month it was, but I feel like this book somewhat reminded me a little bit of The Love Hypothesis, and I found Ellie Hazelwood through Book of the Month when they did The Love Hypothesis, so I figured this might be a new favorite author if I end up liking this book. So I'm excited to read this and start here. This is a romance between a neuroscientist and her rival. So this is a rivals to lovers romance, and so I am super excited to pick this one up. So with that, it is about to be 6:45, so we will go ahead and start the 24-hour countdown timer and see how much of this I can get read here before the end of the day and see just how much I can get read over the next 24 hours. And I've been reading Love and Other Brain Experiments by Hannah Brahm, and I'm about halfway into the book, currently on page 175, which I believe is chapter 13, 12 or 13, I think. Yeah, chapter 13. And so far I'm really enjoying it. I will say the one thing that is not my favorite is the chapters are incredibly long. Like I said, I'm 170 pages in, I'm only on chapter 13, so that tells you how long the chapters are, but for the most part, the story, I'm really enjoying it. So we're following Frances, Dr. Frances, and she's a neuroscientist, and we're also following Lewis, who is also a doctor and a neuroscientist, and they are academic rivals. But in reading this, it seems like it's really only like a one-sided sort of rivalry, but basically Frances like really does not like Lewis. And it starts out and Frances is on a plane. She's headed to this conference from her sister's wedding, and the flight attendant is like, hey, there's a guy that's back here who needs help with this paper that he's working on. Do you want to help him? And she essentially is like, yeah, sure, okay. Turns out he ends up being Dr. North, who is her academic rival. And so they are headed to the same conference where Frances is going to run into her ex, and she ends up finding out that her ex is now engaged to someone else, and Frances accidentally lies and says that her and Lewis are together, and so now they are essentially fake dating. And there has been only one bed, but like not really, because she didn't really spend the night. But I feel like I'm having a really good time. I feel like this does have quite a bit of like science-y stuff, but not too complex. So I feel like I'm really enjoying it. And I feel like I like Frances and Lewis both, and I'm definitely interested to see where the story is gonna go, how they end up, you know, really admitting their feelings for each other, because I feel like you can really tell that Lewis does like Frances, but Frances obviously is trying to get over the fact that she hated him for so long. And so I definitely feel like we are going to see the shift in their relationship. I will say about 50% in, they are starting to kind of get into that mindset that, oh, there could potentially be feelings here, or like I've only acted this way towards this person for so long, but now it could potentially become something more. So I'm definitely interested to keep reading. This is only in Frances's POV. So if you like books that are only told with one POV, then this might be a good pick for you. Also too, it is feeling a little bit slow burny, which I am not minding. So I am enjoying it. I will say, however, I am starting to feel a little bit sleepy. It is currently 9 p.m. So I feel like I am starting to feel sleepy, but I did want to try and finish this before going to bed tonight. But honestly, I don't think I'm gonna make it, because I do still need to get ready for bed. So I don't know, I might go ahead and like put on my pajamas and shower and like braid my hair and do all of that, which, because I know that's going to take me a little while, so I might listen to some of the audiobook of this while I'm doing those things, so that way I can continue reading. So we will see, but I'm definitely going to sit here for a little bit longer and do some more reading and see. Also too, I was trying to figure out like the lighting for in here, because now that I have moved my chair and got a new light, this is the first video that I'm filming since I've redone my office, other than the actual video of me redoing my office. So I don't really know what the lighting situation is, especially at night. So I am able to like brighten the overhead light and dim it, but I don't know if that's like too bright. But I feel like the other way that I had it might have been a little bit too dim and dark. So I don't know, because that right there, oh, I don't know. I feel like that could be good, because I don't know if that's too dark. I feel like that's okay. Because is it? Yeah, that's as low as it goes. I feel like this is okay. This is okay lighting, I think. I don't know. I'll see in post. But anyways, thought I'd give that little update of where I'm at in Love and Other Brain Experiments, and give that little 2-hour or so check-in of the book. So last night I ended up falling asleep before I could finish Love and Other Brain Experiments, but I've made a coffee this morning and I'm ready to sit down and finish this book and start the timer back. So last night I read for just under 4 hours, so I do still have just over 20 hours to read left in the 24 hours, and my goal today is to read for 10 hours, so then I can read for 10 hours today and 10 hours tomorrow. I'm hoping that I can get a little bit more than 10 hours done today, but we'll see. I do have plans to go to Mahjong tonight, so we'll see how much reading I can get done. And if I happen to be reading a book with an audiobook, I can listen to the audiobook on my way to and from mahjong, which will help kind of get some of the time down, even though I can't actively have eyes on paper. So I am going to start back reading. It is just after 8 a.m. so I'm hoping to get as much reading done as I can today. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and hop back into Love and Other Brain Experiments. And when I finish this, we will spin the wheel again to see what I'm going to be reading next. I just finished Love and Other Brain Experiments by Hannah Brahm, and I'm rating this book 3.5 stars. So I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was a good time. I thought it was fun. I really liked the fake dating aspect. I really liked the rivals to lovers aspect. I really enjoyed our two main characters as people. I also really enjoyed the way that the sisterhood was depicted in this. I really enjoyed the different family dynamics between our two main characters, the way that Frances had her sister and they were really close versus Lewis and his family, where there was a lot of tension and animosity because Lewis did not go in the direction that his family wanted him to go in. And I just really enjoyed reading about these more complex aspects and dynamics of our characters. And I definitely feel like I would for sure read more from this author in the future. I feel like it was a pretty solid debut novel and I really enjoyed my time reading it. So I definitely would recommend, if you like The Love Hypothesis or if you like Love on the Brain by Hazelwood, I would definitely recommend checking this book out. It is very STEM coded. They are academics, so it does read a little bit heavy on the academic talk and settings, but overall I felt like it was enjoyable and would definitely recommend. But now that I'm finished with this book, there are 19 hours, 33 minutes, and 3 seconds left in this 24 hours. So we are going to go ahead and spin for the next book that I'm going to be reading. So we will go ahead and spin to see what's next. I did not add another book onto the wheel, so we now have 9 to pick from. So let's see what we got. The book that won is Fighting for Us by Claire Kingsley. This is a small town romance. This is the second book in the Bailey Brothers series. I did read the first book earlier this month. It was on my TBR for the month, and it was a very short read. I think it was just over 100 pages, kind of giving us sort of the backstory into what this book is about. So that book was almost sort of like a prequel in a sense, or honestly like an extended prologue essentially. So I am excited to get into this and see where we go with Asher and Grace. And I feel like the ending of the first book was so heartbreaking, so I'm definitely interested to see where we go from here. So this is the next book that I will be starting for this 24 hours. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get to reading. To the couch because I started getting sleepy and then I literally fell asleep. So I did read Fighting for Us for a couple of hours, and so I mean I'm over halfway through it. So I mean I made some pretty good progress in this before falling asleep, but I definitely took a nap. So I'm going to start the timer back because I did stop the timer before I fell asleep, and I'm gonna keep reading. It's a little bit later in the day than I anticipated. Have not even remotely gotten close to my 10-hour goal for the day. I essentially still have about 7 hours to hit my 10-hour goal for the day. So if that tells you, I am leaving for Mahjong in like 4 hours probably. So definitely not hitting the 10 hours today. And I have a feeling that tomorrow I'm probably not going to be able to get a crazy ton of reading done, just because I have an appointment at 1 p.m. Me and my dad are going to do something at 1, so I'm not sure how much time that is going to take up, so we'll see. But yeah, so I'm gonna stop yapping. I'm gonna get back to reading. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I can at least get 4 or 5 more hours read today. So we'll see. I might just have to wake up a little bit earlier tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna get back to reading Fighting for Us by Claire Kingsley. Also too, I don't think I really talked about what this is about. So we're following Asher, and like I mentioned in the first book about Asher and Grace, Asher gets sent to prison for a crime that he committed. And so in the first book, you read about that time in their lives when this incident happened. And this book is the following 8 years after. So this book takes place, well, it's more like 7 years after the events of book 1, when Asher is released from prison. And so we're following Asher as he is trying to integrate back into normal life and society. And we're following Grace and her trying to show Asher that she was not going to give up on him and that she still wanted to be with him even after he had been in prison and everything like that. And so it's basically kind of a second chance romance, just because she is essentially trying to get him to understand that she never really wanted things to end between them, and to her they didn't. So she's basically trying to show him that she has been there for him and that she still loves him and that she still wants to be with him, even though he has done this thing and has gone through the situation of him being in prison, and now that he is very much a different man than he was going in. So I'm enjoying it. I'm not sure if this is a romantic suspense or not. There seems to be some eerie sort of things where Asher feels like he is being watched a lot. So I don't know if that is like just his instincts of being out of prison, like something that he just kind of is ingrained in him after being in prison, or if there's like literally actually somebody like watching him and trying to stalk him and, you know, harm him. So I guess we'll find out the more I go into it. But I did go ahead and order the next book in the series just because I know that I am going to want to continue the series. I really enjoy Claire Kingsley's books, so this is definitely a series that I am going to want to continue and see myself reading more books out of. So yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna get back to reading. I'm gonna make something to eat really quickly, and I'll talk to you guys again more than likely once I finish Fighting for Us. I just finished Fighting for Us by Claire Kingsley. I enjoyed this book. I'm rating it 3.5 stars. The only reason that I'm not giving it 4 is because I do feel like it was just a smidge too long. It was almost 500 pages, and I feel like that was a bit much, especially considering we already had like a prequel sort of 150-ish or so page novella slash book before this one. So I did feel like 500 pages for this book was a tiny bit excessive, but overall I really enjoyed this book. I liked the story. I liked following Asher and Grace, and I loved that we got to see the Haven brothers and we got to see them kind of like pulling pranks on each other, and I thought that was so fun. I really like being in the town of Tillicum when it comes to reading about the Haven brothers and the Bailey brothers, and so I am so happy that there are multiple books written in this town, just because I love the atmosphere. I love just being with these characters in this town, and I'm super excited to continue reading about the Bailey brothers. I will say this series does feel very different so far than the Haven brothers, but I'm not mad at it. I know that this series was written first, but honestly, I'm just having a really good time. I love reading from Claire Kingsley, so I'm super excited to get into more of her books in the future. So 3.5 stars to this, and with that being said, we are going to move on to the next book. I will be leaving for Mahjong probably here in the next hour or so, maybe hour and a half. So I do want to go ahead and pick the next book so that way I can hopefully try and find the audiobook so I can listen to it in the car while I drive there. So we're gonna go ahead, spin the wheel, and see what the next book I'm gonna be picking up is. Love by the Book by Jessica George is a contemporary fiction novel, and this actually was on my May TBR for the month. So this is potentially one book that I didn't think that I was going to read this month, but I'm now about to get to it. So what I know about this book is that this book is a book about friendship. So I'm excited to read this. I feel like I remember this being about an author and she gets writer's block, and once that happens she starts losing connections in her life, and so it's all about kind of realizing who your friends are and kind of how your success factors into your relationships. And so I'm really interested in this book. I read Mame by Jessica George last year, I believe, and absolutely loved it. So I am super excited to read this, and hopefully I'm going to enjoy this one just as much. Plus, I really love this cover. I think it's absolutely so stunning and gorgeous, and I'm super excited to pick this up. So with that being said, while I have a little bit of time left before it's time to go to Mahjong, I am going to go ahead and start this book. I am now home from Mahjong, and I've been listening to Love by the Book in the car because usually my commute to Mahjong is like 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, so that's about an hour spent in the car. But I have 12 hours and 47 minutes left on the timer. It is almost 1:30 in the morning, so I don't know how much longer I'm planning to stay up, especially if I'm planning on getting up a little bit earlier tomorrow so that way I can start the timer. I was really hoping to get under that 12-hour time frame before tomorrow, just because tomorrow is the last day that I have really to film this vlog. So I wanted to make sure that I could read for the time allotted. So I am going to see if I can stay up for like another 45-ish or so minutes just to see if I can try and get the timer under 12 hours. But if not, that's okay. But so far I'm making pretty good progress into Love by the Book. I am about halfway into it. This book does not have chapter headers. It is just names for the chapters, but I am currently on page 176, and so far I'm enjoying it. I feel like the discussions on friendship are very important, and I'm happy to be able to listen to the audiobook of this and enjoy it. And I feel like there are parts of both Simone and Remy that I do relate to, even though they are both going through kind of a hard time at the moment. And so it's definitely interesting just to read from their point of views and to see how they're feeling in their specific situations. I will say this book did take a turn in direction that I was not expecting. So if you are adverse to reading about pregnancy, this is probably not the book for you. So yeah, but so far I'm enjoying it. I'm probably gonna read for a little bit longer, but also too, I'm probably gonna go to bed soon. I thought I'd pop in and give that update. I'll talk to you probably sometime tomorrow. Good morning. It is just after 8 a.m. and I'm getting ready to turn the timer on for the remainder of the day, and I'm not gonna pause it anymore just because I do need the timer to end today. So I'm just gonna see how much I can get read in the next 12 hours. I have 12 hours, 17 minutes and 14 seconds left on the clock, so I'm just gonna let it run for that amount of time. I am of course hoping to finish Love by the Book. I will have to stop around 1 o'clock time frame, but other than that I'm hoping to finish this and then potentially start and potentially finish one more book after this one. But this one I'm really enjoying. Like I mentioned, did stay up a little bit later last night to continue reading some, but I made it to page 217 in this book last night. So definitely see myself finishing this morning. So I'm gonna stop yapping and get to reading. We're sitting at 10 hours 55 minutes left on the 12-hour timer, and I just finished Love by the Book by Jessica George, and I'm rating this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I really loved the way that we dived into friendship dynamics and how friendship is also a relationship, even if it isn't necessarily the same as a romantic relationship, and how fulfilling having friends can be, and how friendship breakups are really, really hard and difficult. And even though a friendship is a platonic relationship, it still takes work. And I just really enjoyed this book. I will say, like I mentioned earlier, it did kind of take a turn in a direction that I wasn't necessarily expecting, but I don't really feel like it hindered my experience of the book. I just wasn't sure the direction that I was gonna go, but I really enjoyed this. And if you like literary fiction and you especially like reading books that deal with relationship dynamics, then I definitely feel like I would recommend this to you. I really enjoyed my time reading this, so 4 stars to this. And I will be moving on to the next book for this video. I have been sitting here while listening to the audiobook of that. I have been working on my reading journal. I literally have only done like the first page of like the intro page, if you will. So I'm probably gonna sit here and keep doing this if the next book that I pick up does have an audiobook. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see what I'm going to be reading next. I don't really know what I'm feeling, so let's see. So the winner is Between Two Kings by Lindsay Straub, and I did actually grab the audiobook of this from my library a few weeks ago at this point, and it has been trying to get returned, and I keep renewing it because I think that I want to read it, but then I'm like unsure. So I feel like this is the push that I need to start this book. I did give book 1 2 stars, so I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about this one. Book 1 was a lot, so I am curious to see how I'm going to feel about this book. It's so funny that this is the book that got picked too, because I was literally talking about book 1 last night at Mahjong. So I am interested to see what I'm going to think about this. So this is what I'm going to be picking up next. I did order this because honestly, it is so stunning. These like sprayed edges along with the covers, like they're absolutely gorgeous. So fingers crossed, I'll like this one a little bit better than book 1, but we will see. So this is the next book that I'm going to start with. I'm going to pop the audiobook in so I can continue doing my journal, and I will talk to you guys once I have another update. To leave, but I have 8 hours 21 minutes left on the timer, and I've been reading for about 2-ish or so hours of Between Two Kings since we last talked, and I have made it to page 142, which is the start of chapter 14. I do have plans to continue listening to the audiobook while I'm out and about here in the next few minutes, but I will probably not get a whole lot more reading done until I get back a little bit later. So we will see how much of this I can get read. I don't see myself finishing this before the time is up, so we will see. I will do my best, but didn't want to give that update really quickly. I'm about to get everything together so I can leave, and I will more than likely talk to you guys when I get back, and we will see what I can get read while I'm gone, but like I said, probably not a whole lot. I'm gonna put the audiobook on in the car, but more than likely I probably just won't do much listening until I get back. So with that, I'm gonna head out and I will talk to you guys once I return home. Okay, so I haven't talked to you guys since I got home, I don't think, but I did hop on sprints with Lexi because it was the farewell sprints of Escape the Readathon, which today was the last day, and so that was so fun. I'm like so beyond honored that Lexi asked me to co-host this year. It was literally amazing. It was so fun. I'm so happy that I got to be a part of it, but I was able to get some reading of Between Two Kings done. I am probably about halfway into it. I cannot tell if I'm liking this book or not. I feel like I'm not really liking it, but I'm not like hating it either. Like, I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, once you start it, you kind of just like can't look away because it's kind of like that ridiculous. But I'm currently on chapter 26, page 261, and I don't think I'm gonna finish this tonight. I will say, this is a book that is kind of hard to read in one setting just because it is so erotic, but I feel like it's also kind of helping me get through it because I'm like knowing more of like what's going on and I'm not forgetting things that are happening. But I will say this one feels more plot heavy, I guess, kind of, than the first one did. But honestly, I don't really feel like there was a need for this book, let alone a third one that I've seen that is potentially coming out. But I think I saw that book 3 is a prequel to the first two. I don't know exactly, but I don't know. I'm halfway and I literally have no idea where this book is going. I don't know what's gonna happen with Caspian, with Apollo, with Leo, with like literally any of these people. I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to continue reading it, listening to the audiobook and whatnot. It is 5:30 right now, so I have just under 3 hours left in my timer for this readathon, so I'm pretty much just going to plop in the audiobook and listen to it until the timer is up. So that's kind of where I'm at for now. That's kind of what's going on. That's what's happening. So I think I'm gonna relocate either to the chair over here or to the couch. I'm feeling like I kind of want to go to the couch, but I just want to sit down, read. I'll get up here probably in the next like half an hour to an hour and cook some dinner and then hopefully read as much of this as I can, and then it'll be time for me to go to bed so I can go to work tomorrow. So with that, I will talk to you probably again once I have another sort of update for Between Two Kings. Okay, so my 24 hours is officially up. And I did not end up finishing the last book, which is okay. I probably will end up finishing it sometime tomorrow. But I mean, I made a pretty good chunk of the way in, especially for starting this morning, right? I think I started it this morning. And I mean, I still have like 100 pages left in it. So I definitely don't think this is getting done tonight, but I can't say that I'm enjoying it. I don't know what's going on. It just feels like nothing is happening. Like things are happening, like they're having trials and things, but it's like, for what? It all just seems so pointless, and I'm just like confused because I'm like, I don't understand what the point is. Like, I don't understand what's going on, and like, I feel like the purpose of the way that book 1 ended is not really doing anything for me in this book. I just feel like she's too on the fence about all of her previous decisions, and like nothing is making sense, and Caspian is literally just pissing me off. Like, Caspian literally is pissing me off. Like, I don't think I've ever hated a male main character more than I hate Caspian, because he literally is pissing me off so bad. But I feel like I've made it this far. I've come too far to not see it through. So I am going to finish this, like I mentioned, more than likely tomorrow, because I just can't get behind finishing it tonight. It is 8:30, and for the next like half an hour, I would like to start trying to wind down to go to bed. But I did want to go ahead and close out this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys liked it. Even with this being my first 24-hour readathon in a long time, I feel like I did really well. I still read 3 books from start to finish, and then also got like a majority into a 4th one. So I feel like I did pretty stinking well for this to have been my first 24-hour readathon in a long time, like, because I definitely was very rusty. But now that I am done with school, I can see myself doing these again at least once a month. That's usually when I like to do them. I feel like I try to do at least one every month, so hopefully we'll be getting back into that. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. I'll have all of my social media linked in the description. If you've made it to this point in the video, leave the clock emoji to let me know that you made it. And with that being said, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.